Number one, let's start with what happened yesterday, because she has gone viral, all right? She's gone viral over hot girls eat Arby's. Yeah. She was wearing this outfit, this arrangement into the Chicago Sky game. Of course, the Indiana Fever, I would like to say, beat the brakes off the Sky, but really it felt like they underachieved a good bit yesterday.
A backup WNBA player walks into a basketball arena wearing a fast food t-shirt and accidentally exposes the entire league's marketing failure in real time. What happened next wasn't just viral content, it was a complete dismantling of everything the WNBA thought it knew about building superstars. Sophie Cunningham didn't set out to break the internet, hijack news cycles, or turn roast beef into the hottest commodity in women's basketball. But that's exactly what she did, and the fallout is still sending shockwaves through a league that suddenly realized they've been doing everything wrong. While established stars were busy crafting perfect Instagram posts and manufacturing drama for clicks, Sophie threw on a $5 Arby's shirt and became more famous than players who've been grinding for years. The numbers are absolutely insane, and what's even crazier is that nobody saw it coming. Not the league office, not the marketing executives, and definitely not the players who thought they had the formula figured out. This isn't just about a viral moment or a funny shirt. This is about how one player accidentally cracked the code to authentic stardom while everyone else was following a playbook that fans were already tired of. The WNBA spent years begging for attention, and when it finally arrived, they had no idea how to handle it because it didn't come from where they expected.
Sophie Cunningham's t-shirt became a marketing phenomenon. Sophie Cunningham currently plays for the Indiana Fever and has now become one of the most recognizable WNBA players. After Barbie night, she pulled up wearing a shirt that said "Hot Girls Eat Arby's," and the internet lost it. But here's the real backstory. A few months earlier, Sophie posted a video rating Arby's. And that video is just her being authentic in herself. And that puppy went viral.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and give Arby's a solid 9 out of 10.
Then following this, the phrase "hot girls eat Arby's" started flying around. And it turns out that Arby's has been saying this since 2023.
Sophie Cunningham walked into that Chicago Sky game wearing a shirt that said, "Hot girls eat Arby's," and the internet absolutely lost its collective mind. Within hours, that simple piece of fast food merchandise generated more buzz than the league's last 3 marketing campaigns combined. Social media exploded. Memes started flying, and suddenly everyone was talking about the WNBA for reasons that had nothing to do with basketball stats or playoff standings. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't some random marketing stunt or calculated PR move. Sophie had posted a video months earlier rating Arby's food, giving them a solid 9 out of 10 in the most genuine, unfiltered way possible. That video went viral on its own, spawning the "hot girls eat Arby's" phrase that had been floating around social media since 2023. When she showed up wearing that shirt, it wasn't manufactured drama. It was authentic personality meeting perfect timing. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Within 24 hours, that shirt appearance generated over 800,000 views and completely hijacked the WNBA news cycle. Fast food merchandise was suddenly doing better numbers than actual ticket sales, and Sophie found herself at the center of a phenomenon that nobody could have scripted. The league had been desperately searching for viral moments, and here was one player creating them without even trying.
We know somebody that has gotten ridiculously popular this year with the Indiana Fever. I made a prediction that she was going to be the second most popular player on this team by the end of the year. And then, of course, there was the big incident during the Connecticut Sun game. And by the end of that game, she was known as Caitlin Clark's enforcer, right? The one that's got her back. At times, it feels like the only one that's got her back, if I'm being quite honest.
What happened next was even more shocking than the initial viral moment. Sophie's social media following didn't just grow, it exploded in ways that broke WNBA records. She went from around 300,000 TikTok followers to over 1.5 million in what became the fastest social media growth in league history. Her Instagram jumped to over 1.1 million followers, and suddenly she was one of the most recognizable faces in women's basketball. These weren't just empty vanity metrics either. The engagement was real, the fans were authentic, and the impact was measurable in ways that actually matter. While other players were buying followers or manufacturing controversy to stay relevant, Sophie was building a genuine fan base that translated into real economic power. Her jersey sales started climbing, merchandise moved faster than anyone expected, and brands began taking notice of this player who seemed to have figured out something that everyone else was missing. The numbers tell a story that the WNBA front office couldn't ignore even if they wanted to. Sophie gained over 500,000 new TikTok followers in the first 24 hours after her most viral moment, making her one of the fastest-growing athletes on the platform. Her content wasn't polished or professionally produced. It was raw, honest, and exactly what fans were craving in a league that had become obsessed with manufactured authenticity.
Sophie Cunningham has broken the internet in multiple ways over the last day. All right, the other day before the Chicago Sky game, this Barbie, and let's be real, let's be honest. If you were going to cast somebody as Barbie, there's a good chance you'd take a long, hard look at Sophie Cunningham.
But the real game changer wasn't the Arby's shirt. It was what happened when Sophie stepped up as Caitlin Clark's enforcer. During a particularly physical game against the Connecticut Sun, Clark took some hard fouls that had fans calling for someone to step up and protect the league's biggest star. That someone turned out to be Sophie Cunningham, and what she did next turned her from viral sensation into legitimate WNBA icon. The incident was vintage Sophie. No theatrics, no manufactured drama, just pure basketball intensity and team loyalty. When Clark needed backup, Sophie delivered in a way that felt authentic and earned rather than scripted. Fans didn't just watch it happen, they felt it, and their response was immediate and overwhelming. Here was a player who wasn't just riding Caitlin's coattails, but actively protecting the league's most valuable asset. The aftermath of that enforcer moment was unlike anything the WNBA had seen before. Sophie's jersey sales didn't just increase, they completely sold out on the Indiana Fever website within hours. Fans who had never heard her name were suddenly ordering her merchandise and declaring her their new favorite player. The demand was so intense that the team's online store crashed multiple times trying to keep up with orders.
Let's talk about Arby's. She is now on the Arby's payroll. Decided that it was a match made in roast beef heaven. Hot girls eat Arby's. No knock on Arby's, Sophie, but if you give Arby's 9 out of 10, I'll take you to Racks. I'll buy you some Racks, and I think you will find that hot girls probably eat Racks. Arby's has a new spokeswoman, and it just so happens to be Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, that's right. Sophie Cunningham, who took to her social media to discuss how much she enjoyed a trip that she made to Arby's. And
this wasn't just about basketball fans either. Sophie had somehow tapped into a cultural moment that extended far beyond the traditional WNBA audience. Her authentic personality and genuine loyalty to her teammates resonated with people who didn't normally watch women's basketball, expanding the league's reach in ways that years of marketing campaigns had failed to achieve. The social media explosion that followed was absolutely unprecedented in WNBA history. Sophie's TikTok following shot past 1.5 million, making her one of the most followed active players in the league. Her Instagram engagement rates were through the roof, and suddenly every post she made was generating hundreds of thousands of views. Content that would have gotten a few thousand likes for other players was pulling massive numbers for Sophie. What made this growth even more impressive was its organic nature. There were no paid promotions, no bot followers, no artificial inflation of her numbers. These were real fans who genuinely connected with her personality and authenticity. They weren't just following her for basketball content either. They wanted to see her rate more restaurants, share her honest opinions, and continue being the unfiltered personality that had captured their attention in the first place.
700,000 followers overnight. I don't know if you guys knew, she had like 300 or something less than 48 hours ago. Insane. The enforcer has arrived. And she even posted like twice since then, bro. She's totally taken it to a whole new level. Like, Caitlin Clark has a new star. This is like a new star in the WNBA. People ain't gonna like it. People aren't gonna like it. Trace Leches, you know what I'm saying? Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull, which, by the way, kind of was obsessed with her before she even came along. So
The financial impact was staggering and immediate. Industry experts estimated that Sophie's brand value exploded by over $1 million practically overnight. Sponsorship offers started pouring in, and suddenly she had the kind of marketability that established veterans had spent years trying to build. The Arby's deal that followed was just the beginning of what promised to be a very lucrative partnership portfolio. Arby's recognized gold when they saw it and moved quickly to make Sophie an official part of their marketing strategy. The partnership was perfect. A genuine fan of their food who had organically created one of their most successful viral moments ever. This wasn't some forced celebrity endorsement where everyone could see through the fake enthusiasm. Sophie actually loved Arby's, and her authentic appreciation for their roast beef sandwiches translated into marketing magic that money usually can't buy. The deal represented something bigger than just a fast food sponsorship. It showed that authenticity could be monetized in ways that felt natural rather than forced. While other players were struggling to land meaningful endorsement deals, despite years of professional achievements, Sophie had created her own opportunity through nothing but genuine personality and perfect timing.
And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough. So when Caitlin Clark last week, or not last week, a couple days ago, when Caitlin Clark got destroyed, her girl Sophie came to her defense, and this was the most beast mode thing that I've seen a woman do in WNBA history. Now, Sophie, who's my one of my favorites now, she's become one of my favorite WNBA players. I'm gonna watch her too, like I watch Caitlin. Look at what she did, and people may not say that this was in response or whatever the case may be, but I feel like Sophie is like, you want to play?
But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Not everyone was celebrating Sophie's meteoric rise. The WNBA establishment seemed genuinely confused about how to handle a star who hadn't followed their approved pathway to fame. She wasn't part of the manufactured rivalries, didn't fit into their curated storylines, and worst of all, she was succeeding without asking for permission or following their marketing playbook. The leak's response revealed a fundamental problem with how they understood their own audience. Instead of embracing Sophie's organic popularity and using it as a blueprint for building other authentic stars, there seemed to be resistance to her unconventional approach. It was as if they couldn't accept that fans might prefer genuine personality over carefully crafted personas. This resistance became even more obvious when the backlash started. After Sophie's enforcer moment defending Caitlin Clark, a petition appeared online demanding her removal from the WNBA. The petition called her actions disgusting and tried to frame her physical defense of her teammate as unsportsmanlike conduct that had no place in professional basketball.
To the arena yesterday, wearing that, there she is right there. Let's just bring this up. Over at Tater Report. There she is right there. Hot girls eat Arby's. I can only imagine, and I have no idea. I would assume this is some kind of sponsorship with Arby's, right? Right there. I don't know. The roast beef sandwich jokes just sort of write themselves at this point. And just like that, I want a cheddar melt.
The petition backfired spectacularly. Instead of turning fans against Sophie, it only made them more loyal and defensive of their new favorite player. Jersey sales spiked even higher, social media support poured in from unexpected places, and suddenly, Sophie had achieved something that most WNBA players only dream of. She had fans who would actively defend her against criticism. The irony was painful to watch. The WNBA had spent years begging for passionate fan engagement, and here was a player who had inspired exactly that kind of loyalty. Instead of celebrating this organic connection between player and audience, certain elements within the league seemed threatened by it. The petition revealed an uncomfortable truth. Some people didn't want players to be successful unless they did it the right way. What made the backlash even more revealing was its complete failure to slow down Sophie's momentum. Every attempt to diminish her popularity only seemed to make her fans more passionate. The petition to remove her became a rallying cry for supporters who saw it as an attack on everything they loved about her authentic approach to fame and basketball.
I will say that when you are good at basketball, you're pretty, and you got grit, those three things make you bad to the bone. And I think this is one of the new trends that's going on in the WNBA, in my personal opinion, is that not only will you be good at basketball, but you also, some of these women will look like women, right? They used to look like dudes, but now they look like beautiful women that are playing basketball. And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough.
The numbers during this controversy period were absolutely insane. Sophie's merchandise sales continued climbing even as critics tried to tear her down. Her social media engagement rates actually increased during the backlash, proving that authentic connection with fans creates a kind of loyalty that can weather any storm. She had built something that manufactured controversy simply couldn't touch. Industry analysts started calling it the Sophie effect, the ability to generate massive engagement and financial impact through authentic personality rather than scripted drama. Her success was rewriting the playbook for WNBA marketing in real time, showing that fans were hungry for real personalities over manufactured storylines. The financial transformation was the most shocking part of the entire phenomenon. Sophie's estimated brand value went from virtually nothing to over $1 million in a matter of weeks. Sponsorship opportunities that would have been unthinkable for a role player suddenly became realistic possibilities. She had achieved in months what most players spend entire careers trying to build.
Let's take a look, because Arby saw this and decided that it was a match made in roast beef heaven.
Like, not bad.
They weren't dissuaded, obviously, by the little shade that she threw at them there between enjoying her yummy sandwich, saying that she went away, she doesn't have it often for obvious reasons. Well, what are those obvious reasons, Sophie? Anyway, she is now on the Arby's payroll.
This wasn't just about individual success either. Sophie's rise was changing how the entire league thought about star power and marketability. Traditional metrics like scoring averages and all-star selections were proving less important than authentic fan connection and viral potential. The old rules were being rewritten by a player who hadn't even intended to break them. The Arby's partnership became a case study in organic marketing success. Their collaboration generated more positive brand exposure than campaigns costing millions of dollars, all because it felt genuine rather than forced. Sophie's honest love for their food translated into the kind of authentic endorsement that marketers dream about but rarely achieve. What Sophie represents goes far beyond viral moments or social media numbers. She's become a symbol of what happens when athletes are allowed to be genuinely themselves rather than carefully managed brands. Her success suggests that fans are tired of manufactured personalities and hungry for the kind of authenticity that can't be scripted or purchased.
If you can see right here, that's Sophie Cunningham. She is the teammate of the year, or at least the Caitlin Clark she is. After Caitlin Clark was pushed to the ground and poked in the eye in the first half of a game against the Phoenix Mercury, she actually late in the game assaulted one of the Phoenix Mercury players in retaliation. And fans loved it. They ate it up because look at this. If you look closely, her following on TikTok went from over 300,000, which was great, to almost well over 800,000, probably at 1 million now.
The league's struggle to handle her popularity reveals deeper issues about how women's sports approach marketing and star development. For years, the WNBA has tried to create stars through traditional methods: highlight reels, media training, and carefully crafted storylines. Sophie proved that sometimes the most powerful marketing tool is simply letting athletes be human. Her impact extends beyond basketball into broader conversations about authenticity in sports marketing. While male athletes have long been celebrated for showing personality and speaking their minds, women's sports has often demanded a more polished, careful approach. Sophie's success challenges that entire framework. The future implications of the Sophie phenomenon are staggering. If one player can generate this kind of engagement and financial impact through authenticity alone, what does that mean for how the WNBA develops and markets its other stars? Her success provides a roadmap that other players and leagues are already studying and attempting to replicate.
So Caitlin Clark's teammate Sophie Cunningham's jersey has officially sold out on the Fever website. And this comes the same week as the chippy foul that led to some ejections at the end of the game. It was a bit of a revenge foul taken up for Caitlin Clark after a hard foul on the other end. And then immediately a petition online from the Caitlin Clark haters to have Sophie Cunningham removed from the WNBA. They're trying to get folks to sign it. They said what she displayed tonight was disgusting. And yeah, it was a hard foul, but now it has the Caitlin Clark fans rallying around her, buying up her jerseys to the point they've officially sold out. Fortunately for this petition, I think they just turned Sophie Cunningham into a new WNBA A-list superstar.
But here's the thing about authenticity. It can't be faked or manufactured. Sophie's success wasn't the result of a marketing strategy or calculated persona. It happened because she was genuinely herself in a space that had become dominated by artificial personalities. That's not something that can be easily copied or replicated through traditional marketing methods. The Sophie Cunningham story is ultimately about more than basketball or viral marketing. It's about what happens when someone refuses to play by rules that weren't working anyway. She didn't set out to revolutionize WNBA marketing or become a case study in authentic engagement. She just wore a shirt she liked, defended her teammate when necessary, and stayed true to herself throughout the chaos. The WNBA may never fully understand what they witnessed with Sophie's rise, but the impact is undeniable. A backup player with a $5 fast food shirt accidentally exposed everything wrong with how women's sports approaches star development. The league spent years manufacturing drama that nobody wanted, while the real stars were the ones brave enough to just be themselves.
Sophie Cunningham's jersey is going to sell out tonight. The people have been waiting for this. If the refs are not going to do their job, the players are going to have to be the enforcers themselves. This game was chippy from the beginning, and the refs did not do their job.
Sophie Cunningham didn't break the WNBA. She revealed that it was already broken, at least when it came to understanding what fans actually wanted. Her accidental revolution might be exactly what the league needed, even if they're still figuring out how to handle it. The question now isn't whether other players will try to copy her success, but whether the league will learn from it or continue fighting against the authenticity that their audience is clearly craving.